Hello there. Welcome to a short, probably short Bible teaching today. Um, this is one of those moments when I just think of something in the early morning and I want to share it with you. So let's jump right in there. So I got this verse in my mind this morning, Psalm 19. We'll be reading it shortly, and I also saw an image. So I'll draw the image first so that you can visualize it in your mind while we're reading the psalm. So what I saw was like forest here, maybe some mountains, not too many mountains there, but oops, sorry, accidentally switched page. But some mountains, and I saw the sun, and also I saw the moon, and the sun and the moon were traveling in circles above the earth, or as you could say, I saw the sun arcing and the moon as well. It was like a mixed image, but what I remember seeing this circular movement. Of course, this perspective is wrong here, so let's fix it. Let's look a little bit from the top instead. See the forest and stuff. But anyway, not too bright an image there, but let's jump right into the psalm next. So this is Psalm 19. Let's go ahead and read it. So it says, and right now I'm reading from the Matthew's Bible translation, but we might be reading King James as well. Let's see. The very heavens declare the glory of God, and the very firmament showeth his handiwork. One day telleth another, and one night certifieth another. There is neither speech nor language, but their voices are heard among them. The sound is gone out into all lands, and their words into the ends of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, which cometh forth as a bridegroom out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a giant to run his course. It goeth forth from one end of the heaven, and runneth about unto the same end again, and there may no man hide himself from the heat thereof. And that is pretty powerful. Let's read from the King James as well. There I'm reading here from this Finnish Bible website. And the King James says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language, but the voice is not heard." And here the where is capitalized, so it's not in the original text. The line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, which as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit under the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. Personally, I think I like the Matthew a bit better, but it's mostly the same. But it is very interesting passage. So what do we see here? One thing I was thinking of discussing is this word, the very firmament here. Oops. And the heavens. And it looks like to me from the King James that the heavens is capitalized, or idolized, whatever, how do you say it? So it's not part of the original text. So if we skip those words, it would say that declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. And I don't think the and is there, but we shall see. But one could read it like anyway. You get it. But what I was looking at is the word firmament there, and that is the word raqiya. And it is translated, or a meaning of it is as an extended surface, which is solid, expanse, firmament. Kind of funny. That is the translation in King James, pretty much always. Yeah, it is always translated as firmament. And other meanings or sub-meanings: expanse, flat as space, support, firmament, of vault of heaven supporting waters above, and then considered by Hebrews as solid and supporting waters above. So let's draw that just slightly there. So what I saw also, this might be my imagination, but what I saw, and this is again the same kind of perspective here, I saw the firmament like a wall, and you cannot see it because it's like 3D. How could I draw it? No, it's certainly not like that. But that, yeah, like this. Okay, here. Maybe like something like this. This one circle is not right here, but you get the idea anyway. So you have like, now we're inside what is the sky, what is the firmament, and what I saw was stars placed in the firmament. So the stars bring light, and you're looking at the stars here. Well, you're not that fat probably, but you're looking, and it is pretty magnificent what's going on here. And you see the moon traveling inside the firmament. Of course, during the day, you see the sun traveling inside the firmament, depending, of course, where you are, how you see it. Like, for example, as we are in the equator, you see it coming from like behind you, and you can see it passing all the way beyond the mountains, beyond the horizon. So the sun comes and goes forth, and we'll be going there soon. But that is and one image I saw. And if we take the word firmament, and let's see the root word also was pretty interesting. So firmament is raqiya, and the root word is raqa, and that is translated as spread, stamp, stretch, beat, made broad. Other meanings: to beat, to stamp, to beat out, to spread out, to stretch, to stamp, to beat out, to overlay, beat out for plating, beaten out, to make spreading. So here, an image that might describe that is like you have a piece of metal here, and it is heated very hot in the furnace, like so, and then the smith takes the metal and starts pounding it with his hammer, bam, 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 beating up the metal like that. And what happens to the metal when it's beaten out? And again, I'm not an expert. I'm a software developer for the most part. I'm not too much into smithing, but the metal starts to become more flattened. When he beats it, it gets more and more flat, like a pancake. And then it goes into shape, and the smith can use that beating and that heat to cast the metal into what shape he wants. He may make a cup out of it, or he may make like plating armor or whatever out of that metal. So that is the process of beating the metal to making it an expanse, a solid, firm thing you make out of metal. So that is the word associated with this firmament. So maybe you can imagine yourself like beating of the sky, and it goes into shape. Let's see what else there was in the Bible passage. That was the word firmament there. And I think the heavens were added there by the translators, but I might be wrong there. But it is very interesting here that it says the firmament, or the very firmament, showeth his handiwork. And it's so like you see the work of his hands. That is handiwork. And we can actually go ahead and see what is the word handiwork here. That is, or maase. And it's translated as work, needlework, acts, labor, doing, art, deed, or something else. So basically like something you do, your achievement here, or your deeds, but also translated lots of times as like a piece of handiwork, like a cloth, or a piece of furniture, or that sort of like physical handiwork. And the root word there, let's go and see, it's asa. So we go from maase to asa, and to make, raw, deal, commit, offer, execute, keep, show, prepare, work. So this is basically the work to make, and the handiwork is making. So it is the making of the Lord. And I find that interesting. I find that very interesting, that you can observe the making of the Lord or the Father in the sky. And as we saw in the one image I drew just now, we can observe this making, the handiwork of the Lord, as we look into the sky. That is what it is declaring. I made this. Let's continue then. So, one day telleth another, and one night certified another. There's the circular movement. I don't understand this too much, but anyway, there is neither a speech nor language, but their voices are heard among them. And I find this interesting also. King James translation here. There is no speech, no language, where their voice is not heard. Of course, there is, and where, not in the original text, I don't think. So it is no speech, no language, their voice is not heard. I mean, I think the Matthew translation does better justice for that. This is basically like translating the meaning of the sentence into completely opposite. Like it says no speech, no language, voice not heard. And it is translated as there is no speech, no language where the voice is not heard. It's like completely opposite. So, I mean, both might be true, but it is quite interesting how you can change it by inserting those couple of words there. But then it continues, and let's read from Matthew first. Their sound is gone out into all lands, and their words into the ends of the world. So it is inscribing sound and words, but no speech, no language. But voice are heard. Quite interesting, I would say, quite interesting. No speech, no language, but voice and sound. So they have voice and sound. And the voice and the sound is gone throughout all the earth. So wherever you are in the earth, the voice and the sound of these things, the voice and the sound of heaven is there. It reaches there. I don't know how it does, or is it the message that these constellations bring? Is it the message that the sun gives? Or is it physical sound, physical voice? I don't know. We shall see that when the Lord reveals those things to us. But the next passage I think is very interesting. In them, that is, I think, in the heavens and the firmament, maybe. Well, that is how I would interpret it. But in them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, which cometh forth as a bridegroom out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a giant to run his course. And let's see if the King James has anything to add to that. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, rejoiceth as a strong man to run the race. Of course, here's the difference whether it is translated as a strong man or as a giant. Makes, I think, little difference here. But what I found interesting is the word tabernacle. And if we go look at that word, is ohel. And it literally means like a tent or a home. And like a nomad's tent. And, you know, we all have heard, well, at least all who read the Old Testament have heard of the tabernacle that God set out for himself, or Jehovah set out for himself. And let's see, the root word there is ahal, so we go from ohel to ahal, and that is to shine, to be clear, or shine. That is interesting connection there. I don't understand that too much, but hey. And it is also interesting, this bridegroom coming out of his chamber to run a race. I think in other passages it says a circuit, so we can also draw something like that. So let's just read that and see what it says. It says that there is a tent, or the tent from the sun and the moon. So they are inside the tent. It is their tent. So we would be drawing something like this maybe. And now we're looking from the inside. Of course, this is from perspective again. Let's try to get it right somehow. So we have the middle pole. I don't know if they had any poles in the middle, but let's say we have one, and here we have the tent. So now we're inside the tent. Of course, this is a minimal small tent, but let's say it's a very large tent. The perspective is wrong. I think we should be looking up. So let's try to make it like that. If I can draw it. So not too. Like, it is hard for me to draw these things. Let's see. We make the floor there, so we're closer to the floor, but now we can only see. Let's try again. Sorry for taking your time on this. We need the floor here, and then, well, it is hard because we cannot see the floor if we look up. So let's just look up here. See, this is like the head of the tent, so it goes here. So now we're standing on the bottom of the tent, and we're looking up. So okay, here would be a view from towards the floor. Here would, oh well, we removed the middle pole, whatever. And here we're looking up. And actually, I've seen quite interesting buildings here that they have like this sort of structure in the roof, like this, like a, how do you call it? Like a circular roof that goes up, like a dome structure, or like, and it has a hole in the middle, and the sun comes from through the hole and lights the whole place. But that's not what we're doing here right now, because the sun and the moon are inside the tent here. So let's see, the sun comes from his chamber. So let's see, we have here a chamber, and he comes out of it like so. I'm a strong man, and then he starts running the race, and he comes back where he started. Okay, that is pretty funny picture, but I think you get the idea. But it is like, and if we look at the thing from above, we draw like a race circuit. Circuit is something, a word that's often used in the Bible with the sun, to compass or circuit. And we think of this as a race circuit. So the man starts running a race and he runs the whole circuit, and of course comes back where he started, finishing the lap victoriously. So that is the metaphor used there in this Bible passage, and I hope you can see the image. And what if we draw little stars here? And isn't that interesting? Isn't that very interesting here? To see the sun as a strong man running a race on his course among the clouds. Then we go here. Let's see if we have anything else here. It goeth forth from one end of the heaven, and runneth about unto the same end again, and there may no man hide himself from the heat thereof. That is so strong. That is so strong, and that is exactly what we saw there, coming out of his chamber and then running a course. One end of the heaven and coming back to the same end. That is very interesting wording there in the Matthew translation. Let's see what it is in the King James. He's going forth from the end of the heaven, and his circuit, again here is the circuit under the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat. So let's see, circuit. Circuit is, wow, that is pretty Tikofa or something. It's they cannot show the symbol there, but end, circuit, come about, coming round, circuit of time or space. That is interesting. A turning circuit at the circuit, and the root word there is from Tikofa to Naka. Okay, that is pretty interesting. How is that the same word? But the meaning is pretty similar. Compass, go roundabout, go about, compass about, and then we have destroy, down, enclosed, kill, round. These probably refer to like when you compass a city and you make a fortification against that city and destroy it. I don't know, that might be related. To strike off skin. Interesting. To go around, compass, round. To go around. And yeah. Encompass, like go around something, circle it, encompass it, like you do in war. Enclose, to make the round, to complete the circuit, to make round off. So very circular and round stuff there. It is very good. So how was it translated here? It was probably used the end word there. Goes from the end of the heaven and runneth about unto the same end again. So, well, it is pretty much the same meaning, just use different words there. So circuit, one end, coming back to the same end. Yeah. So that is what I saw in the early morning, and that is pretty interesting. What do you think? Do you find this interesting? The heaven or the firmament showeth the handiwork of God. What the Raqiya, the heaven or the firmament word, comes from this handiwork, banging of metal, and how it is described as a tent or tabernacle for the sun, and how the sun runs a circuit and comes back to that same place. It is very interesting.